Listen up, Rangers. Welcome to the Geek Chest. My name's Steve.
My name is Arnes.
Today we're going over the film Terror of MechaGodzilla, or Terror of Godzilla, if depending on which way you prefer.
But how many titles this movie has?
Depends on which country you're from. Also, this movie has some crazy posters if you've ever seen them.
Alright, you have like a ton of posters in here. Which one is it?
Actually none. I don't really have any Showa posters, sadly. Although if I could get one, there's one, I think it's like the German poster or something, where it just has like a dude running, and the monster's like head is like slightly off in the background. It's like, Terror of MechaGodzilla. It's like, but it looks like a James Bond poster or something.
Why are you failing me, Steve? You should have these things, man.
But hey, say.
How much?
I don't know. Although at G-Fest, there's a lady that had a ton of the posters. Like, I really wanted a few, but priorities. Toys have priorities over posters.
But look at that poster. Look how amazing that looks.
It's also signed by Robert Scottfield.
It makes King Ghidorah.
Although sadly it's sitting on the ground right now because it's on a worse poster than the one that's hanging up right now. I gotta actually get this thing up.
Look at that.
You guys want to see it real quick? My autographed poster from Robert Scottfield M11. Just Ocean. From King Ghidorah. Which we haven't gotten to yet, and it'll probably be a little while still. Because we're actually at the end of the Showa Godzilla line.
What do you mean?
This is the final one.
There's no more Godzilla movies?
No, this is it for anything prior to 1984.
So there's like a few year gaps?
Yeah, this is supposed to be the last Godzilla movie. Again.
Didn't you say that like, I don't know, number 9 movie or something like that?
Destroy All Monsters supposed to be the last one. So was 1954.
I think they're lying to us.
They just keep going. Oh, don't worry. It's going to get stopped a couple more times. It's fine.
And I can tell this is the final one because they're going all and out.
Yeah, because surprisingly, this movie... I'll just play my cards right now. I love Terror of MechaGodzilla. It actually has a plot.
I had a big issue with the last one we watched. Man, let me tell you. And this one was...
the gorilla suits, we all know.
Oh, man, this one was such a huge improvement.
Yeah, because essentially for the story, it's pretty much... these guys are hunting down the remains for MechaGodzilla, Interpol. And they want to find MechaGodzilla's head and the body, so they're in a submarine scoping where the wreckage should be. But it's not there. And they find a new monster named Titanosaurus, which you found out is controlled by this doctor and his daughter.
Okay. Explain this to me. I know she's a cyborg.
Yes.
How is she controlling him?
She has like a little chip inside her. I don't know, man.
This is the one thing that I was confused
Science.
on. This is
controlled by science.
This is the one thing I was confused on that I was going to ask you. Is how she... I understand how she's controlling MechaGodzilla. She's got that thing...
I'm going to say wavelengths.
She's got that thing under her heart. We all seen it, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that's for MechaGodzilla. His brain's inside of her stomach, which is why at the end she has to...
Yeah. How is she controlling the other one? Is the other one a robot that we don't know about?
No, it's just they communicate.
How?
Moving on.
Yo, you explain this to me. I was confused.
Essentially, what is it? He made a machine that could communicate because they explained earlier that when he was actually being a scientist, he was trying to make a machine that he could control animals with, and they were like, "Oh, we shouldn't be doing that." Then he finds a dinosaur, so he tries to wire the machine to be able to control the dinosaur.
Yeah, that's how she dies.
Imagines through wavelengths, and his daughter knew the monster better than everybody, so she was the one that was controlling it.
I'm so confused on this, people.
Anyways, so after finding Titanosaurus, you find out also that MechaGodzilla is getting rebuilt. Then you enlist the help of the scientist guy, which I don't remember the name.
He hates humans, though.
Oh yeah. Well, because they made him retire. Because he was like, there's dinosaurs! And they're like, you're stupid. No. Even though Godzilla's a thing and everybody knows about Godzilla, why would there be a dinosaur under the water? So the aliens from the black hole return to enlist the help of Dr. Mifume, which is his name. Finally remembered it. And then Katsura?
Yeah, Katsura.
Is the cyborg girl. So they enlist their help to get MechaGodzilla up and running because they want to rebuild him so that they can take over Tokyo.
Why are they taking over Tokyo, Steve?
So that they can rebuild it better.
Yes.
Because they want to get out of the black hole because they're going to die.
Because yet humans are poisoning Earth and their planet is dying because the black hole is killing it.
Yep. So they think they'll do it better. But our giant friendly kaiju shows up to try to, I guess, they don't even like say it as in he's like there to save the day. He's just like, hey, he's showing up to show his dominance, essentially. Then eventually Dr. Mifune unleashes Titanosaurus because he wants to show them that he's better than MechaGodzilla. So then Godzilla shows up and gets 1 or 2 punches in.
Yeah.
And then Titanosaurus has to leave.
You missed a favorite part. Like, this is one of my favorite parts in this movie. When he does the whole destruction thing, of the city, and then a Godzilla head appears in the background. It's just like a lightning strikes. He has his own intro.
Oh, it's so amazing.
And
then I like how Titanosaurus just gets the hell out of there because it's just like, gets a couple of shots in, and they're like, okay, we have to have Titanosaurus return to base or whatever.
To save his daughter because she fell in the water.
Yes, so then Titanosaurus just kind of like goes to the edge and just jumps off like a cliff. It's weird. And then eventually they find out that sonar waves affect Titanosaurus, so they devise a mechanism in order to amplify it when they're hitting him.
Yeah, to shove the thing in his neck.
Yeah, so that when Godzilla's getting tag teamed by MechaGodzilla Titanosaurus, he has more of a fighting chance. That's pretty much the plot of the movie. Then the aliens lose in the end. But for the plot, it's actually a lot better than what I'm making it out to be, because the actual human dynamic is actually not that bad.
It's a lot better. Improvements, man.
Yeah, like the plot's actually pretty cohesive. Like it has actually a decent structure to it. I get what's going along. Like, okay, there's Titanosaurus gets introduced. They explain why there's Titanosaurus and why the Doctor is using Titanosaurus to do bad things. And also the aliens, explain why the aliens are there, why he's helping the aliens, and then why we have to stop them. It works. It's not the most complex movie, but I still enjoyed watching it even when the monsters weren't around.
By far, it's probably my second best.
Most notably, I'd say the cyborg girl, Katsura.
Yeah.
She's definitely my favorite of the movie. Just because every time... But when she gets shot, she's like... Or like the one part where she gets electrocuted, she's like... No!
She fell like 3 times. I don't even know how that was possible.
Then when she gets shot in the arm again, same thing happens. Oh, my arm. I'm a cyborg, but God, it hurts. Falling.
Alright, so
slowly.
There was that... towards the movie, there's that part where like she's trying to get away from the people and there's that old pervert guy that grabs her arm.
Oh yeah, and he's just like...
Yeah.
And then she gets away, he's still like...
That was the greatest thing ever.
I'm like, what are you even doing here? Especially like in the scene where like she goes to Interpol to talk to the biologist guy, and then for some odd reason they kept doing shots of going back and forth, like because they don't even like say that like she got a ride there, like she just kind of shows up and then all of a sudden you just see him in the car like, and then it just like snaps back to her like after like a second of that, and it just keeps going back to like showing him in the car for reasons. Like that was probably one of the more odd choices in the movie for me.
It was still funny though.
It was hilarious just because that guy's just freaking ridiculous looking. Though I will say the one thing that sucks, especially watching it on the English dubbed, or I guess I think it's only on the English dub, is where they do the introduction to kind of make Godzilla seem like the bad guy, and so they use a bunch of shots from older films. But then they introduce like the aliens from Monster Zero, the Exians.
Yeah.
And then they kind of make them guys seem like that they're the ones that controlled MechaGodzilla. But then, like, the sea monster was also controlled by them, and the monsters from Son of Godzilla.
Made it seem like these people were controlling all the monsters, pretty much.
Yeah, it was weird. Especially since we already watched the last movie. This is kind of a continuation. You didn't really need that. But then again, I guess they're trying to make this, like, movie, like, stateside anyways, kind of just into one package by itself.
There's also, which I wasn't sure what was going on. Like I told you, about 48 minutes into the movie.
Oh yeah, we see Menda.
Yeah, when they were like talking like how the scientist guy was the one who sent out all those monsters.
Well, no, they didn't want Titanosaurus to be like those monsters.
Oh,
they wanted to be a killer.
Yeah, they
like
didn't want
Manda, Baron, stuff like that.
All right. See, I was confused by that. I thought they were like saying that he was the one who sent it out. I was like, what?
I said, wait, what? And again, like it uses like not like you already had knowledge of these older movies.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Like, I actually like a little bit of a continuation storyline in the Godzilla films, which is one of the reasons why I really like the Heisei series so much. Because for that entire series, they all kind of tie in together, which is nice.
I was confused, Will. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
It's okay. He's always confused about watching these. I'm pretty sure he's like, action scenes. Alright, moving on. So for the actual plot, it works for me, and now I actually want to talk about the suits, because that's probably my favorite thing about this movie. Because you get 3 monsters with Titanosaurus, Godzilla, and MechaGodzilla. I guess we'll start with Titanosaurus, which he's essentially the newest monster in this movie.
Do you have any figures of him?
No, although there is an X Plus or a reissue X Plus coming out. I think it's in April, so it comes out around my birthday. I have it on pre-order because I don't actually own another Titanosaurus figure. It was one at G-Fest I was thinking about picking up, but
I figure you would have had that thing because that's like a dragon.
He's like an underwater dinosaur.
Yeah. Oh man, that's like Jessica's favorite thing.
Actually, she loves Titanosaurus.
See?
It's the main reason I got a pre-order on X Plus. Like, I need to get a MechaGodzilla once I get that thing in. I don't know if they actually have a 30 centimeter stateside. I'll have to check into that.
Don't worry, somebody will correct you.
Black Knight, find it.
He'll find it for us, buddy. Hey, how's it going?
How you doing today? I'm doing fantastic. But for the monster, I think he looks aesthetically really sweet because he has a lot of very nice dynamic colors with like, he has red with his fins being more of a yellowish shade, but then he has like weird like colored lines on him.
The neck thingy? Like his head?
He has like a yellow stripes on his face and stuff. So he looks cool, and especially with like the sequences where like you see him underwater with when his tail extends, so he makes the typhoon or the whirlpool underwater.
That was the greatest thing. Then he grabs a submarine, and you just see 2 toys sinking down.
Yeah, he's just like, then he breaks it.
That was amazing.
He has some of the cooler scenes in this movie, like when he bites on the Godzilla's upper lip and starts like flinging around all over the place.
I think he had no matter what I say, this is going to sound bad. I just think he had Down syndrome, though, because his head was always like...
Yeah. Well, the way it is like the actor's head's going to be, like, on the lower portion of the neck.
Yeah, I know. But
so,
still.
like, this entire upper section, there's just, like, nothing there other than, like, the animatronics for the mouth. So when he's walking, it's sort of, like, looks like one of those, like, bobbing birds the entire time.
And it was so bad. Like, I didn't want to say it, like, that way, but it looked pretty bad most of the
time. Well, it's an older movie. Like, you gotta forgive it in some aspects. It's still kind of goofy, but it works for the monster. Like, it's just kind of like one of his qualities. I also like, too, like, one of my favorite scenes because it's like, they go to it where, like, they're like, these bunch of kids are, like, running away from the school, and there's, like, the little kid and the fat kid. They're like, man, we need to go check this out. So they're, like, round the corner, Titanosaurus is walking up, and they're like, oh, no. And that's when Godzilla just kind of appears out of nowhere and just, like, bum rushes Titanosaurus.
Yeah, I didn't understand that scene.
Well, it's just like a Godzilla vs. MechaGodzilla where he just kind of comes out of a building and, hey, he's here now.
Science?
Sure. But anyways, so Godzilla bum rushes Titanosaurus, and then Titanosaurus proceeds to use his tail fin to make the hurricane winds and knock Godzilla back. And the funny thing is, I don't know if a lot of people realize, but after that scene, because there's like the kids, and then Godzilla kind of runs over that certain area where you imagine the kids would be, and then the Titanosaurus doing his fins, those kids are dead.
Yeah.
Dead, done, died in.
He killed them all.
Yeah, because they don't like to show destruction, but it's just like, there's no way. There's no way those people survive. They don't even come back to the kids. At all.
That's pretty bad. He's a killer.
Yeah, I know, right? And then you got Godzilla, which actually, to me, looks very intimidating in this movie. Because for a lot of the like other Showas, like the slightly earlier ones, he has more of like a little bit of a goofier appearance. But this one, like the way his like brows define everything, it always looks like he's pissed off.
I had few issues with this Godzilla suit. Like when they do those close-up shots, and like one of them was like inside of his mouth, and you could just see like the separations from like the gums and like where the teeth were.
Yeah,
it was really bad. Like,
yeah, there's like certain parts. Where overall, it's like it's one of those you have to be like, I see it.
But it was really there was like really one cool part about the suit when he takes off the MechaGodzilla's head and there's like that little brain thingy.
Yeah,
shoots that beam. You can see it shoots the beam and just catches the whole suit on fire like on each side.
Yeah, you can tell like with this being the last of the Showa Godzilla movies, they didn't care what happened to these suits after the end of this movie.
No, they destroyed
it at all. Because it kind of conveys in the fights really well. Because this is probably my favorite fight scenes of any of the Showa Godzillas.
This definitely has one of my favorite scenes.
Which was? Oh, he's jumping on Godzilla's body like a grave, like a trampoline.
Yeah, he's got his hands behind his back. What was his name?
Titanosaurus.
Titanosaurus, yeah. Which, by the way, he sounds just like from the Super Metroid 3, one of the bosses you fight, the Croca.
Yeah. Yeah. God, he has such a weird sound. It's like...
Like when you kill that boss in a Super Metroid, that's what the noise is. Literally the same.
He has a cool, like, it's like the most unique sounding kaiju from the Godzilla series, in my opinion. Which kind of makes him stand out. But the Godzilla suit in this, I think, is really cool. Especially with, like, how, like, the fight scenes work out, because this is, like, the most, like, MMA wrestling fights you will ever see in any of these movies. Because they're just, like, throwing punches, they're throwing the monsters around, he tackles them, rips things off.
Biting each other's
faces.
Just,
like, trying to, like, he's, like, grabbing onto his arm, trying to break it and stuff. Like, oh, the fight, like, it's just, you just need to watch this just for the end fight scene. You really do.
That's when you text me, like, coming over. I'm like, no, I'm watching the end fight scene.
I need to finish this. I thought MechaGodzilla, which makes his return, doesn't really look any different from the last one, other than the part that Arnes already mentioned when Godzilla rips off his head and he has the brain dome underneath. But he has, like, some new weapons where he has, like, the rotating missiles in his fingers.
He also got missiles coming out of his kneecaps and...
Yeah, we did that in the last one.
I know, but, like, I was saying, like, when he was, like, that part where Michael Bay was introduced into this movie.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Like, the Godzilla was running, and he's just sitting there, like, shooting every single thing he has, like, missiles coming out of his kneecaps.
Yeah, you just see explosions behind Godzilla. Godzilla's like...
He was dodging him like a champ.
It's like Revenge of the Fallen.
Oh, God. Don't compare it.
I know, this movie's way better, which is depressing. Depressing.
Oh, that's so bad.
But MechaGodzilla's still sweet. Still one of my favorite kaijus aesthetically. Like, he is an awesome looking monster.
I had one issue when the Titanosaurus... What was his name again?
Titanosaurus.
Titanosaurus was walking, and MechaGodzilla was flying next to him. Titanosaurus was, like, comparison this big, and MechaGodzilla was, like, this big flying next to him.
Like, it's perspective. Although I imagine the model was about that size, so it works, or whatever.
So that was, like, one of the things where I noticed when I was like, why is he so smaller? But then when he finally landed next to him, they were about the same size.
Yeah, I guess my one thing, too, that kind of sucks is with it being called Terror of MechaGodzilla is he doesn't really do a whole lot in this.
No, sadly
in terms
you
of
don't.
the fights. Because he's kind of there, like, for most of the fights, it's Godzilla and Titanosaurus, and then when Godzilla's getting the upper hand, he kind of shoots a beam at him or something. Which is one of the, like, the best wrestling moves ever that happens. Is Godzilla goes, like, to pick up Titanosaurus and do a body slam, and MechaGodzilla shoots him in the back and he falls back on him. I like that straight up WWE. The only time that Godzilla really fights him in this is right after that whole Michael Bay sequence that Godzilla just kind of bum rushes him, and it's awesome. And what's cool too is they don't really like reuse a lot of footage for the fights.
No.
It's all pretty much new stuff, which is really neat. Although I would have liked to have seen like the squirting blood again.
Oh yeah.
That would have been cool, but they kind of stayed away from it with this one. Except for the humans. Like people die a lot in this.
Oh, yeah, they did. This one was pretty bad about that.
Yeah. Well, especially Alright, we'll move on to the props. Which, like, the set pieces for this movie are amazing. Especially, like, you see, like, MechaGodzilla, like, shooting the buildings in the ground. Like, the ground literally is exploding, breaking apart, sinking on itself. Which looks awesome. Like, it seems fairly realistic,
when he
actually.
shoots that, one of the finger missiles in the ground, and literally explodes in, like, entire thing.
Yeah, it looks like it's, like, caving into the sewers and stuff. Like, it's actually really cool. Buildings look awesome. They actually do a lot of, like, the first fight scene with Godzilla and Titanosaurus, where you see, like, the destruction and, like, the pan, like, they do, like, that pan shot where they're kind of, like, posing, getting ready to fight. You just see the destruction. It looks amazing. Even when he's doing, like, his tail thing, the buildings are just flying away. And it looks like Titanosaurus is actually trying to put out fires.
God, that's one of the things is I wish he had different abilities, like...
Yeah, well, it's just giant dinosaur.
Like, I understand, like, okay, he's underwater. Okay, I get the tail thingy. Like, when he went on land, like, they should have gave him something, a fire extinguisher or something.
He has Rodan's abilities. Except he does it with his tail. So it's cooler. But one of the things I want to bring up with the aliens, because they actually do look a lot different than they did previously, where they have, like, the helmets and stuff. And then there's one scene in particular that I completely kind of, like, blocked out of my mind, because I imagine this would have terrified me as a kid. Is, when he's, like, strangling, like...
Oh, Nicolas Cage scene?
Yeah, where the one guy's, like, the biologist is strangling the, black hole alien, and then the doctor and, whatever her name is. I keep forgetting.
Katsune or something?
Yeah. Is just watching. And, like, he's strangling him, and the guy's like, no! And they just grabs his face and literally just peels it off. And it's terrifying. Because I'm expecting them to turn into, like, the monkeys or whatever, or the apes. And then it's just, nope. Zombie face, dude.
Yeah, it looks like a zombie lizard or something.
Looks like Deadpool. It looks like the Deadpool in the two trailers.
Oh, poor guy.
All the crossovers in this.
I like the part at the end of the movie when the alien's like, you can't kill me, your guns are useless. He jumps in the water, and you see 3 ships. One guy jumps in, 3 ships are flying away, and Godzilla was like, oh, hell no.
Explosions!
I was like, oh.
Yeah, I'm glad the power effects of this movie are insane, because we keep bringing up Michael Bay, but like, there's exploding ships, MechaGodzilla shit at Godzilla. He's literally running away from explosions. Trademark Michael Bay here. Yeah, and then you have like the underwater scenes are actually pretty nice too, especially with like the submarine where it's like driving around underwater. You actually see like the crane arm like moving up and down as they're like scombing
that scene,
the ocean bed. And this movie's awesome. Like for being the last of the Showa series, I feel like they just went out with a bang.
Sure,
because that's some of the coolest monsters in pretty much all the Showa series for me, with MechaGodzilla, Titanosaurus, and Godzilla himself. And the props are cool. I actually like the aliens a lot better than I did in the previous film. I guess this movie's winning. But
we just need BB now.
Yeah, we probably should do that. But anyways, what'd you guys think of Terror of MechaGodzilla? Please let us know in the comments section below what you guys thought of this film. And help us defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button, subscribe, become a ranger today. We'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye-bye.